It was an inspiring speech. Few things you have mentioned about the honesty of the author. I think honesty is something should be followed across all professions, not only police or judiciary. So honesty is not the best policy. I believe honesty should be the only policy that has to be followed across. And also my dad usually, he used to mention, it's the duty of every public to adhere to the law. It's not law, it should be enforced. It has to be followed by every responsible citizen. And also, yeah, I noted one more point. Sorry, I forgot. Thank you, sir, for that inspiring speech. Now I request Mr. P.L. Viswanathan, I.P.S, to provide his felicitation. Before that, sorry, sir. Yeah, we would like to honor Mr. R.N.Krishnaswamy, sir, who has flew all the way from UK, by Mr. Shankar, advocate.
Encouragement.
Mr. Shankar, he is advocate, and he is honoring Mr. R.N.Krishnaswamy.
Sorry, the hat is not part of me, okay? Just to hide my bald head.
It looks good on you, sir.
What of thanks last time, since he is going out and our program.
Yeah, today being Amma was.
என் இனிய அன்பான சொந்தங்களே, நண்பர்களே, தாய்மார்களே, ஐஜி ரத்னசபாபதி அவர்களே, சித்தண்ணன் அவர்களே, இங்கு மேடையில் உட்கார்ந்து இருக்கும் சிறப்பு விருந்தினர்களே, நீங்கள் சிறப்பு விருந்தினர்கள் மட்டுமல்ல, சிறந்த விருந்தினராக வந்திருக்கிறீர்கள். அதைவிட மிக முக்கியமான மகிழ்ச்சியான ஒரு செய்தி என்னவென்றால், நீதிக்கும் நேர்மைக்கும் பெயர் பெற்ற நம்முடைய ஜஸ்டிஸ் பிரகாஷ் ஐயா அவர்கள், நீதி என்றால் அவர்தான் நீதி, நேர்மை என்றால் அவர்தான் நேர்மை. அப்பேற்பட்ட ஒரு ஜட்ஜ் ஐயா நம்ம R.N.K ஐயா எழுதின புஸ்தகத்தை ரிலீஸ் பண்ணுறாருன்னா என்ன ஒரு அற்புதமான கோயின்சிடன்ஸ் பாருங்க. R.N.K ஐயா அந்த காலத்தில் இருக்கும்போது நான் ஃப்ளெட்ஜிலிங் டிஎஸ்பி, அவரை நான் பார்த்தது கூட இல்லை. கள்ள நோட்டு கேஸை R.N.K ஐயா படிக்கும்போது நான் எம்ஏ படிச்சுட்டு இருக்கேன் பிரசிடென்சி காலேஜில். ஆனால் அவரை நான் பார்த்ததே இல்லை. ஆனால் ரொம்ப கேள்விப்பட்டு நான் மானசீக குருவாக அவரை நான் ஏற்றுக்கொண்டேன். அப்பேற்பட்ட ஒரு அற்புதமான அதிகாரி எழுதின புஸ்தகத்தை ஒரு அற்புதமான ஜட்ஜையை ரிலீஸ் பண்ணுறது, இது எல்லாருக்கும் கிடைக்கிற ஒரு சந்தர்ப்பம் இல்லை. அதை விட ஒரு அன்பான சந்தர்ப்பம் என்னவென்றால், பாலு எனக்கு தம்பி மாதிரி அவர். பாலு என்னை இங்கே கூப்பிட்டதை நான் ரொம்ப பெருமையாக கருதுகிறேன். பேர்பட்ட படித்தவங்க, பேர்பட்ட டாக்டர் ஐயா அவர் சொல்லிட்டார், மாத்திரையே சாப்பிடலன்னு சொல்லியிருக்கார் டாக்டர். உண்மைதான், சிரிக்கணும். அவர் சொன்னதை இப்போ நான் டிவைட் ஆகிட்டேன். சிரிச்சால போகிற வாழ்க்கையில் எல்லாரும் மகிழ்ச்சியாக இருக்கலாம். R.N.K பற்றி எல்லாரும் சொல்லிட்டீங்க, எல்லாருமே அற்புதமாக சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. அந்த புக்கை நானும் படித்தேன். அவரை பற்றி இனிமேல் சொல்கிறதுக்கு எதுவுமே இல்லை. ஆனால் ஒரே ஒரு சின்ன மேட்டர் மட்டும் சொல்லி முடிச்சுக்கிறேன். இல்லைன்னா பாலுக்கு பையனை வெளியே அனுப்பிச்சிடுவார். ஆமாம், R.N.K ஐயா தமிழ்நாட்டிலே இது வரைக்கும் எந்த அதிகாரிக்கும் ஜனாதிபதி பதக்கம் 2 பதக்கங்களை 3 வருடத்திற்கு கொடுத்தது அவர் ஒருத்தர் தான். R.N.K ஐயா அவர்களுக்கு மட்டும்தான் கொடுத்தார்கள். 1959 முதல் பதக்கம் ஜனாதிபதி வாங்குகிறார். நார்மலாக 6 ஆண்டுகள் கழித்து தான் 2வது பதக்கத்தை கொடுக்க வேண்டும். அதுதான் சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்ட்டுடைய சட்டம் இன்றைக்கும். ஆனால் 1962 3 ஆண்டுகளுக்குள் அவருக்கு 2வது பதக்கத்தையும் கொடுக்குது சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்ட். இன்று வரை எந்த அதிகாரியும் அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு பதக்கத்தை 3 ஆண்டுகளில் தமிழ்நாட்டிலோ இந்தியாவிலேயோ வாங்கவில்லை. இது 100% உண்மை. இது வந்து நம்ம இங்கே இருக்க சொந்தங்களை அத்தனை பேரும் மகிழ்ச்சியோடு நம்ம ஏற்றுக்கணும். பாலு சொன்ன மாதிரி தற்பெருமைக்கு சொல்ல ஆர்.என். மாணிக்கமையாக்கு அப்புறம் நம்ம போலீஸில் கிட்டத்தட்ட 25-30 வருஷத்துக்கு அப்புறம் ஒரு முதலியார் ஏடிஜிபின்னா நான் தான் வந்திருக்கிறேன். அது என்ன காரணம் தெரியல. இப்போ நம்ம கம்யூனிட்டியில் யாரும் அதிகமாக பரீட்சை எழுதுறதுல போல் இருக்குது, இல்லை படிக்கிறதுல போல் இருக்குது. இது கொஞ்சம் வருத்தமான விஷயம்தான். நான் வந்து இது சம்பந்தமாக என்னை யாரும் தவறாக நினைக்க வேண்டாம், ஜாதி அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அதை பற்றி நான் சொல்லலை. பார்த்தீங்கன்னா கிட்டத்தட்ட 25 ஆண்டுகளுக்கு அப்புறம் ஆர்.என். மாணிக்கமையாக்கு அப்புறம் ஒரு பெரிய பதவியில் வந்து ரிட்டையர் ஆனது நான் தான். ஆனால் அது நான் பெருமையாக சொல்லிக்கல, நமக்குள்ளே இவ்வளோ கேப் வரக்கூடாது. ஆகையினால் இப்பொழுது நம்ம ஜஸ்டிஸ் ஐயனுடைய பேச்ச கேட்க நான் ரொம்ப ஆர்வத்தோடு இருக்கிறேன். ஆனால் அதை விட ஒரு முக்கியமான ஏஎம்எஸ் ஐயா இருக்காங்க பாருங்க, நம்ம செக்ரட்டரி ஐயா, அவருக்கு எனக்கு கையெழுத்து 62 போட்டார். 9 மாதத்தில் நான் டிஎஸ்பி செலெக்ஷன் ஆகி வந்துட்டேன். அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு மேடையில் உங்கள் முன்னால் பேசுகிறதுல எனக்கு ரொம்ப மகிழ்ச்சியாக இருக்குது. சுவாமிநாதன் ஐயா அவர்கள் 62 ஆர்டிஓ ஈரோடில் என்னுடைய தந்தையார் லோகநாதன் முதலியார் டிவிஷன் இன்ஜினியர் I.P.S, ரொம்ப நேர்மைக்கு பேர் போன அதிகாரி என் தந்தை. அதை சொல்லிக்கொள்ள இன்றும் பெருமையாக சொல்லிக்கொள்கிறேன். அப்பொழுது எம்ஏ படிச்சுட்டு நான் ஈரோடுக்கு வந்த உடனே பேப்பரில் அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் பார்த்தேன். தமிழ்நாடு கவர்மெண்ட், அப்போ மெட்ராஸ் ஸ்டேட் கவர்மெண்ட் போட்டிருந்தான் டிஎஸ்பி டெப்டி கலெக்டர் செலெக்ஷன். அதுக்கு அப்ளிகேஷன் வாங்கினோடனே ஆர்டிஓ தான் இப்போ சீல் போட்டு அந்த இதெல்லாம் சர்டிஃபிகேட் கொடுக்கணுன்னாங்க. அப்போ ஐயா தான் ஆர்டிஓங்க, நான் காலேஜ் ஸ்டூடெண்ட். அப்பா ஃபோன் பண்ணி, மிஸ்டர் சுவாமிநாதன், ஐ எம் சென்டிங் மை சன் எப்படி போகிறேன், சைக்கிளில் போகிறேன். இப்போல்லாம் சன்லாம் டாஜி காரு பிள்ளைமத்தில் போகிறாங்க எல்லாம். போய் இவர்கிட்ட சர்டிஃபிகேட் போட்டார், அதை ஃபைல் பண்ணேன். அதான் ஐயாக்கிட்ட அன்னைக்கு கூட சொன்னேன், கடைசியை சந்திச்சுப்பேன். 9 மாதத்தில் நான் டெப்டி சூப்பரண்டாக கவர்மெண்ட் ஆர்டர் போடுது. எந்த கவர்மெண்ட்னா காங்கிரஸ் கவர்மெண்ட்டுங்க, இப்போ இருக்கிற கவர்மெண்ட் இல்லை, காங்கிரஸ் கவர்மெண்ட்டில். நான் அந்த இன்டர்வியூக்கு போகிறதுக்கு எங்கள் தாத்தா காரில் டாட்ஜ் கிங்ஸ்வே காரில் போனேன். அதுக்கு போட்ட 2 லிட்டர் பெட்ரோல் தான் அதுக்கு செலவு. நேர்மையை பற்றி சொல்லுகிறேன், நான் அதோடு நிறுத்திக் கொள்கிறேன். ஏன்னா இதுக்கு மேலே பேசினா அரசியல்னு யாராவது சொல்லிடுவாங்க. ஆனால் ஸோ நண்பர்களே, உங்களை எல்லோரும் சந்தித்ததில் எனக்கு மிகவும் மகிழ்ச்சி. அதோட ஜட்ஜ் ஐயா பேசுனதையும் சாமிநாதன் ஐயா பேசுனதையும் கேட்க நான் ரொம்ப ஆவலோடு இருக்கின்றேன். வணக்கம்.
நன்றி ஐயா. நீங்கள் சொன்னது ஒரு விதத்தில் கரெக்டு தான். ஏன்னா எங்கள் அப்பாவும் சொல்லுவாங்க, அவங்க வந்து அவங்க குருவாக மதிக்கிற அவங்க R.N.K சார் வந்து அவங்க அவ்வளோ டெடிக்கேஷன்னு நீங்கள் அந்த புக்கை பார்த்தா தெரியும். எல்லா இதுலேயும் வந்து திறமசாலி, எல்லாருமே ரெக்கமெண்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஃப்ரம் பிரிட்டிஷ்லேருந்து எல்லாருமே வந்து இப்போ என்ன ரெக்கமெண்டட் ஃபார் ப்ரமோஷன் அப்படின்னு தான் இருக்கும். எங்கள் அப்பா சொல்கிறதுனா, நான் யங் ஏஜில் இப்போ அப்பா வந்து 4 மணிக்கு எழுதுறாங்க, அவ்வளோ எஃபர்ட் போடுறாங்க. அந்த காலேஜ் டேஸில் நான் இன்னும் படிச்சிருந்தேன்னா நான் I.P.S ஆகிருக்கலாம். அப்போ கொஞ்சம் சினிமா அது இதுன்னு விட்டுட்டேன் அப்படிங்குவாங்க. ஸோ ஐயா சொன்னது கரெக்டு. பட் இந்த ஜென்ரேஷனும் இன்னும் வரணும். Irrespective of any caste or anything, I think we need more such officers. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. A.M. Swaminathan, I.A.S, to provide his felicitation.
No problem. I'm all right. Respected Justice Prakash, my respected other chief guests on the days, and my affectionate relations and friends. I am very happy that I have been invited to give this address on the release of the book of by Mr. R.N.K. I have to say 2 things before I start my main lecture. One is my homage and my what shall I say, my appreciation of Mr. Balu Swaminathan, who has taken so much of efforts all these years and brought out this book after nearly 13-15 years after the death of Mr. R.N.K. And the occasion was when he called on R.N.K. when he got the Lifetime Achievement Award by another High Court judge. Mr. R.N.K. gave him the manuscript and told him, "I'll be happy if it can be published, but great efforts are needed to publish this type of a book because of I have some experience in writing an autobiography. As our other friend said, it is very difficult to write an autobiography because you should not err on the side of appreciating yourself. You should not become a vehicle for appreciation of yourself, number one. Number two, you should not offend anybody because you would have certainly, in a 40-year career, you would have certainly offended many people for many things. Some may be deserving, some may be not deserving, but still you have to be keep out of all these things, and nobody should sue you for defamation. You see, these days, everything, small cases, defamation is filed against the person who wrote that particular article. You should be careful about that. I found the best way of doing this would be not to mention the names as far as possible, but mention the incidents and occurrences, number one. Number two, if we have got to mention somebody's name, better bring him to the dais so that you tell him that I have written like this. If he has got any objection, let him say that. So my experience was that I brought the two ministers, two chief secretaries, and very many other people about whom I wrote to the dais, and they were present at the thing. And uniformly all of them said that he has written the truth. You see, that is something which I was very proud of. Similarly, R.N.K's book also, lots and lots of incidents have been said, and lot of things have been said about people and officers especially, and none can be disputed. Nothing can be said against what he has written. It is truth, truth and absolute truth. That is something great. Now that is first point. Second point, coming to Balu, Mr. R.N.K. R.N.K. retired in 1972, and he wrote this book in 2000, and he died in 2010, and now 2023 we are publishing this book. So much time has passed from what had happened, and people have a chance to go through it again and again and again, go through these incidents, and every one of us can vouchsafe it is a true and correct version of whatever happened. That's a great thing, and we owe it to Mr. Balu Swaminathan and others who have brought this book, because apart from the merits of the book, the fact that the book is coming up after 30, 40 years still found a relevancy today in today's conditions, and still it can be a guidebook for any police officer who wants to do the thing properly. He is a great man of integrity, great man of honesty, a man who can work very hard, and I don't know how he found time for all the type of things. He is talking about 18 cases of the police department, and I think about 26 cases of the vigilance and anti-corruption. So all in all, 36 cases. So I would like to start with thanking Balu Swaminathan and his other colleagues who have made it possible for this. And I would certainly endorse what our other friends said about this book being made available to all the police officers for their guidance and for their. And the way he has brought about the people here, representing the judiciary, the police, the administration and various, the academics, it's a great thing. Every one of them is known for their integrity and honesty. And I am so happy that I share the days along with such eminent people who have made their own mark, who are known very much for their integrity. So that makes it good that we have made this possible today. And it's also something which one can be happy about. That is, he says this book, the proceeds of this will go towards institution of award in the name of R.N.Krishnaswamy. It's a great thing. And it will go to the best investigator of that particular year or 2 years, once in 2 years. That's a great thing. So I would also join the request to all of you to buy and present it to various people so that a good corpus fund can be created to commemorate the memory of R.N. Krishnaswamy so many years after his death and so many years after his retirement. Now, since many people have already spoken, I won't take much of your time, but I would like to mention something which has not been mentioned in a particular way. Mr. Sherlock Holmes is somebody who is well known to all of us, and perhaps in our younger days, all of us are fans of Sherlock Holmes. Arthur Conan Doyle wrote 56 episodes on Sherlock Holmes. Every one of them is a gem, and I've read about 40 of them. Beautiful stories, when no mechanical, electronic equipment was available, only purely, as somebody else said, purely by brain power, deduction, logic. So he was able to solve many things. He is a man who found something neglected by all other people, or he is a man who found some new angle to something, or new interpretation of something. It's a beautiful way to bring out the truth in an area where a lot of untruth is being bandied about. So Mr. R.N.K. deserves this particular epithet as Sherlock Holmes of Tamil Nadu. I would say that the people of Tamil Nadu called him Sherlock Holmes, okay. His subordinates called him Sherlock Holmes, okay. His colleagues called him Sherlock Holmes, okay. His bosses called him Sherlock Holmes, okay. Finally, the Supreme Court and the High Court recorded that he noted as Sherlock Holmes. That is something which is a great achievement. I am very happy that this is a very, very suitable epithet. Now, coming to the main point, the guidebook tells you that you need 21 qualities to be an ace investigator. 21 qualities. Now, R.N. Koy had not only these 21, but something more also. Something more, that is the common sense he had in an uncommon way. The way he has described the way he investigated is something which I leave it to you to read and enjoy. I won't tell you anything about that. But one thing I will tell you, the normal saying is that a thief is thinks one step before the police in order not to get caught. Mr. R.N.K. thought two steps before the accused, before the criminal. So that is why he was successful. I have not seen any case failing in which he has been involved for investigation purposes. So all the cases ended, whether it is acquittal or imprisonment, that's a different thing. It depends on the judge also. But every one of the case has been proved beyond doubt. Proved beyond doubt. A criminal case has to be done. That has been done. That is something which now he had all the disadvantages. I sometimes say that Mr. R.N.Krishnaswamy, if he has been born a few years later, just a few years later, he would have become DGP. He would have taken the I.P.S straight away, made more, because it is a Scotland Yard principal wrote about his investigative abilities when he was mere inspector of police. He is not even a DSP. He was sent there as a senior officer, but I find from this thing, the police department has got 5 grades of sub-inspector. 1 sub-inspector, 1, 2, 3, like that goes. And the man was sent to Central, and those people say, the Scotland Yard people say, that he is a very good investigator and appreciates him. Now, if he has been born a few years later, he would have straight away cleared I.P.S and become DGP like his own brother, perhaps he has become a Director General of RAW or some other this thing. It's a bad, sometimes we are born on the wrong time at the wrong place, like that. Now, the other disadvantage was that most of the cases were referred to him long after they happened, because immediate investigation is normally taken only by the local police, and then after some time they find it difficult to solve, they transfer it to the CID. That means that 2 things happen. CID will not also be able to catch the thief, number 1, because long time has passed. Number 2, CID will find it very difficult to get reliable evidences to be put up before the court, because people generally say, sir, அதெல்லாம் பழைய கேஸ் சார், அது போய் சொல்ல வேண்டாம், இதெல்லாம் இப்போ போய் சொல்லிட்டு இருப்பானே. See, that is the general thing. So this is something which we find that the cases which have been talked about by Mr. R.N.K. were 3 categories, where the local police was on the defensive because already the case has not been handled by them, or the local police would like to help, but they also feel helpless because the long passage of time, or the local police themselves are involved and they themselves are conniving and the concealing of the crime. Now, what do you do when you are faced with one of the 3 situations? Mr. R.N.K. solved every one of them, every one of them. The other point is, he has been dealing with high and mighty of the land, and he has investigated ministers, MPs, collectors, SPs, DIGs, like that. So very powerful people. On the other side, the known rowdies who won't mind one more murder charge against them. See, he has been handling those people. And on the other side, after all the investigation, suppose he goes to the court, he found that some of the judges appreciated his investigating abilities. That is a minority. A good judge and a good police officer, very rare combination. So what had happened in many of the cases is that the judge was either already prejudiced, or he was already politically under pressure, or he doesn't know law. So we have all types of magistrates and DC judges who play a part in his career of 36 years. So some of them just do not know law. one magistrate, when faced with the fact that Krishnan, the famous mill owner of Coimbatore, is arrested and he is coming for remand, the magistrate simply said that I won't give him a remand. Then when the APP who was deaf started arguing, magistrate, this gentleman rose saying that, sir, I am the investigating officer, kindly hear me. And after hearing him 2 minutes or 3 minutes, magistrate knew that it is a case which cannot be released immediately. So he asked the police to keep him in he asked the accused to go to the local TV and stay in the TV for 2 days. Have you ever heard of this thing? And stay in the TV for 2 days and come back on Monday morning when we'll hear the case. I mean, that type of magistracy was there. There was another magistrate who said that you should come in uniform. When he said, no, I am a CID officer, I am not allowed to wear the uniform as per the PSO. This gentleman says, throw your PSO to the waste paper basket. I would hear only when you are formally dressed in police uniform. Then the PP has to fortunately intervene and say, PSO is not only PSO, but it's also a government order, but it's also law. And that's how. And very, very unwillingly he hears the story of Mr. So there are some people who are not knowing the procedure, not knowing the law, not knowing the protocol. So these type of problems he had right through. And he has dealt with very, very small petty cases to major cases like the famous mustard roll case which was taken, about the politically sensitive cases, and double murder, triple murder, the entire family being murdered for a petty gain. That is something which shakes us even today when I hear that doctor and his Mrs. Doctor, his 2 children, 2 young children, all murdered just for a few rupees. Your blood boils. And the local police, under the pressure of the local people, because the doctor couple were very popular in Tuticorin area, so they wanted somehow to clear the case. They brought 2 other fellows, Handi and Kumbal, and put in one and fabricated a lot of evidence to save this. Now, Mr. Krishnaswamy had 2 things to do. One is that he has to get the true convicts. Of course, after so many months, the case was transferred to him and he did that beautiful job and he got the real culprits. But more than that, he didn't expose the officers. He did not expose the police officer who would fabricate the evidence. When the judge himself wanted to do so, he said, that is not done. Let me see the case diaries. The case diaries were pakka. See, that sort of what shall I say, with integrity, not to let down your people. Though of course they may be at fault. But there are other cases where the people are conveyed, as the other case of Krishnan, where the entire counterfeit notes were kept in the local inspector's house. What do? That will be the last place where you see whether the counterfeit, where they are located. So there is something which is the last point I would like to say is his presence of mind. See, investigation is one thing. You can spend hours and hours. You can be blessed with a brain which is multi-focused. So I am focused on one thing, but my interpretation of something is focused interpreted by 3 people in 3 different ways. Mr. Krishnaswamy will do it all by himself, and he had covered up all the points. Like that, the case was gone. But the famous case of Krishnan, what happened was, he kept the main accused, Krishnan, in his own house, in his own drawing room, and investigated, and finally told that I am arresting you. Mr. Krishnan simply said, after all the other problems, I'll just go to the puja room, pray and come back. Now he didn't allow. Now you would have heard of so many cases today where the people go to the puja room, you see, and come back after, or they go to the bathroom, they go to the other places and say, I'll come back, I'll get some packages, some dresses. But we say, sorry, Mr. Krishnan, you will not go. You will only come with me. So Krishnan, after all the arrest and after all the drama, finally broke down and said, sir, nice that you didn't allow me to go to the puja room. I had kept a revolver there. I would have shot myself there. That's the end of his story. So we have got many such cases. Cases, Master Road case, where the Chief Minister was upset that Krishnaswamy is arresting the ex-mayor, the present mayor, present deputy mayor of the corporation. And don't forget, the DMK came to power just then. Apo Arasu was the first mayor. This man was second mayor, third mayor, fourth mayor. All these people are arrested. So CM calls him straight up in a great agitated mood and say, how dare you arrest my man? But he says, I already given the list of people to be arrested to your PA. I mean, an ordinary inspector of police should be able to say that to the CM of the state is something which is fantastic, So CM, no reply. I have been already told, that's all, that's the end of it. So, one thing that strikes me after going through all the stories of investigation is that there is no difference among the political parties. The communists, I thought at least, because there is a famous saying that unless you are a communist when you are before 30, you are no good. And if you are a communist after 40, you are no good. You see, this is proved in two cases which is involved here. One is the Tirunelveli conspiracy case, where whatever is criminal under not only law but even moral law, you see, that is something which I am not able to digest even today, because we thought communists are people of some principle. You may like your principle or not, but they are communists. They are very strong in their views. That is what we normally think, unlike the other political parties. And to think that they thought of sabotaging the visit of the Governor General. Don't forget this, after 41 but before 50. So at that time there is only one Governor General, Rajaji, and he is the only Indian Governor General because afterwards we became a presidential constitution. Now to think of killing him and damaging the function, and what is the function? It is the inauguration of Tuticorin port. See, a major port is being added to your own state, and the Governor General is coming to this thing. You sabotage this thing and try to murder him. I mean, there is something which no patriot will be able to accept. Similarly, there are other cases where the communists have proved that they are as bad as other political parties, especially the Congress and the communists, whom we expected slightly better at this behavior, at least in the initial years. Now, of course, there is no difference, but after about 75 years, there is no difference among the parties. I think all of you will agree that all parties are the same, and all parties have got the same um, objective of making money for themselves and for patronizing their own relatives, irrespective of marriage. This is something that comes out in the book very, very well, and I think that Mr. Krishnaswamy's investigative abilities, he has also been instrumental in putting up a detective school in Calcutta at that time. But there are so many other instances, and I have taken, I think I exceeded my 10 minutes given to them. But I could not help saying these things because one thing I am very much impressed is that he is still relevant today after so many years after his death, so many years after his retirement, and that is something we have got. There is some lesson to all of us, whether we are common people or whether we are lawyers or whether doctors, engineers or judges. There is some lesson to all of us that we are capable of being better. We can do better. Why are we not doing it? Our country is going down, down, down for various reasons. But one thing is lack of character, lack of integrity. If this book can be sold and the particular sale proceeds can be given to the best man, not only best investigator, but investigator of good integrity, that will be nice indeed. Thank you very much.
சாரி டு எம்சி ரோலை கொஞ்சம் எடுத்துக்கிறேன். அதாவது R.N. கிருஷ்ணசாமி பேட் டைம்னாங்க, காவல்துறைக்கு குட் டைம். அதாவது ஃபீல்டு இன்வெஸ்டிகேட்டராக வரும்போது தான் ஷெர்லாக் ஹோம்ஸ்ன்னு. இப்போ இத்தனை கேஸ் எப்போதும் எப்படின்னாக்கா, இப்போ 5 விரல் இருக்குது, எல்லாம் ஒரே உயரமாக இருக்கா, ஒன்றா எல்லாம் ஒரே இதாக இருந்தால் ஒன்றுத்துக்கும் லாயப்படாது. எல்லாரும் டிஜிபி, எல்லாரும் ஏடிஜிபி வருத்தப்படக்கூடாது. ஃபீல்டு ஆஃபீஸராக இருக்கும்போது தான் இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷன் பண்ணும்போது தான் இவ்வளவு பேர் எடுத்தார். இப்போ அது தமிழ்நாடு காவல்துறைக்கு R.N. கிருஷ்ணசாமி சப் இன்ஸ்பெக்டராக இண்டக்ட் ஆனது நமக்கு பெருமை. R.N. மாணிக்கம் டைரக்டர் டிஎஸ்பி சூப்பர்வைசிங் போயிட்டாங்க. சூப்பர்வைசிங் பண்ணுறது கூட இப்போ இந்த இதிலே ஒரு ஐஜி அருள் R.N. கிருஷ்ணசாமி இவரை விசாரிக்கும் போது நம்ம அதில் ஈடுபடவே கூடாது, அவர் நம்ம கொஸ்டினே பண்ணக்கூடாதுன்ட்டார். சூப்பர்வைசரிங்கன்னா சூப்பர்வைசர் விட இருக்கணும், இன்வெஸ்டிகேட்டர் வேறன்னார். அதனால் அதே போல தான் இப்போ சொன்னேன், நான் சினிமா பார்த்து சேரஞ்சாலும் என்ன ஆர்டிஸ்ட்க்கு பதில் சொல்லணும்னா சினிமா நான் சப் இன்ஸ்பெக்டராக சேரணும் தான் என்னுடைய எண்ணம். I.P.S போகணுங்கிறதெல்லாம் எண்ணம் கிடையாது. சப் இன்ஸ்பெக்டராக போது இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷன் பண்ணணும், இதுதான் எண்ணம் மொழியும். அதே மாதிரி தான் போனேன், அதே மாதிரி தான் வந்தேன். வணக்கம்.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring speech. Yes, we do agree. Our hero had a common sense in a very uncommon way. And then there was the point I missed out what Maslamani sir gave away, and you also mentioned that it requires, there is no surprise in going against criminals or your enemies, but it needs a lot of courage to go against your higher officials or your own people to believe in the what you is the truth, right? It's really great. Now I request Honorable Justice Mr. P.N. Prakash to address the gathering. I think everyone else is